Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. So, we've got an SR1433 snapper here. What do they call these? The square tube versus the round tube? This is a square tube one. It's got the whole throttle and all that mess right here. So, the deluxe model, so to speak. Working on it for a neighbor. Y'all remember the other snapper that I had to do a few months back that I had to replace the compression release on the camshaft in. That thing's still running good. I think it might have an ignition coil issue, but apart from that, they've been cutting and doing great with it. But he's got two more for me to work on. I've got this one right here, and there's another one that's pretty rough with the deck and everything. I'm waiting on that one whenever things slow down kind of later in the summer. I'm just going to get them by with these two for right now. This one right here, I waited until after I took it apart to film it because I didn't know if it was going to be put back together or not. Reason being, I pulled it and it would just backfire on me. And I want to show you why here in just a second. But we're going to replace the head on it, long story short. And I need to give a shout out to Mr. Casey Bullington. He ended up sending me a head for this thing. So thank you, Casey. It's going to come in handy because the other one's not salvageable, and it's one thing that I don't think I have ever seen before on one, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen it before. So stay tuned. We're going to put this head on this snapper, and we are going to hopefully get this thing running here so that I can start working on more of my own projects. Let's get started. Also, guys, I'm going to put Casey's info down in the description below for his Instagram page and his YouTube channel. Worth a follow. The man's got some serious mowers. He does, I don't know how many free items every day. I mean, that man moves some mowers. So give him a follow and a like. And thanks again, Casey, for giving me the head to this. So let's really go ahead and get started with this repair now. So, quick overview of the lawnmower, then we're going to check the head. SR1433 snapper, dusty, dirty, been sitting for a while. Good shape overall though. Has the classic busted side discharge chute that's chronic with these. I think it's a late 90s, early 2000s model. It's actually a 2000 model according to the Briggs. 14.5 horsepower. Looks good. Just had that backfiring issue, and that ended up being the head. So, let me show it to you. Let me show you what happened with this thing. So on this side, you can kind of see, what would that be? That would be the intake valve, wouldn't it? The bigger valve before the exhaust valve. Yep. So the intake valve here, sitting like this, right? Well, I don't know if it like came off the valve spring on the inside or something like that, or if it just wasn't put on correctly, but I know this isn't supposed to be the case. It actually shot through the head, so that's where the hole's supposed to be. The intake valve has shot through the head and busted a hole in it, so this head is toast. And I've got, you know, valve springs and stuff off of this thing right here. Of course, the valve spring popped and all that. I don't have a clue why that happened though. Also, this little guide here for the intake push rod is messed up. So I don't know if the intake push rod slipped off and screwed things up or what. But Casey sent me a bunch of stuff. Mounting bolts, a couple of head mounting bolts. I've got another intake and exhaust push rod here to put on it, so that's good. They're in good shape. The only difference is this is going to be for a second gen and one of these. This is a second gen head, and we're putting it on a first gen overhead valve engine. I don't think there's going to be any issue. We're about to find out though. But the good news is, I'm going to scrape the head gasket off of the other one. The head gasket on this thing is in amazing shape. So we're just going to be able to put it back on and probably be done with it, call it a day with that, because there's no gasket material remaining on this head. It came off very cleanly, extremely cleanly, which I'm thankful for. So, we're going to put this head on, and some of y'all might be wondering, how is the cylinder? Well, the cylinder is good overall. The only area where it has a little bit of scoring is right there, and that's not even enough to do anything. So we got very fortunate, and the push rods and everything look like they're, let's take a look. Let me see if I can pull the engine. So I have to see if the push rods are working correctly. I wonder if, hopefully one of them didn't let go inside the engine. But I'll give it a look really quick because I see that one's out. So I don't know if it needs to be popped back in or not. Y'all can't really see it very well. But I'm going to look at it real quick. I'll verify to make sure that they're moving back and forth. And then we'll go ahead and put this head on after I clean the gasket material off of it. Alright guys, I've cleaned the head up some, which is good. I am going to go ahead and put it on now. Really good shape. Like I said, head gasket's in really good shape too. Hopefully this is an easy deal here. We'll find out. Let me grab the tools I need. I've already got everything kind of set aside, and we'll go ahead and put this thing back on. Alright, I might be challenging with the light here. But like I said, as you can see, this head gasket's in pretty decent shape from what I can tell. A little dirt and grit right there on the edge of the cylinder wall there, from where it's just been pushed out over time. Nothing crazy. I don't want to compromise the gasket, so we're just going to go ahead and put this thing on. There's two little pin grooves, one's right there and one's right here, and we're going to put those and just slide them in there. Like I said, this is a second gen, almost like an Intech style valve cover. Shouldn't be any different from what we used for the other one. Just putting some bolts in for right now. Get a couple in here, just finger tighten them. Of course, silly me, didn't put the 1/2 inch ratchet or socket onto the impact, so give me a second. Easy, we're not racing here, so just kind of putting it on there right now. I will torque this down to spec because I don't want a head gasket leak. Man, I hope this is all that this thing needs. And I'm doing this as a repair for a customer. I'm not going to charge him for the head because Casey didn't charge me. That would be wrong. I'm just going to charge him for the labor. Which, honestly, this is not a hard job to do. Probably charge him an hour's worth. There's bolts on the bottom that I'm taking care of. There's 3 down here. And number 3, y'all can't see them, but you'll see them if you look, if that makes any sense. Okay, we'll impact those in again. You kind of I want to torque these down. Okay. So next, I can go ahead and connect the intake bolts again. I've got this whole myriad of bolts here. I got to figure out where they go. So I know where the exhaust bolts go. No, that's not it. I guess it's these two bolts. Those are the only ones that would make sense. 10 mil. Yeah, they look like they go there. Of course, you bolt the intake right onto the head. Very easy. Straightforward, or it should be. I don't know why it's not going on. There we go. I was a little off, that's why. 10 mils, 3/8 probably. You gotta be very easy with this. You don't want to go too. And we'll snug them with a 1/4-inch ratchet. I'm not gonna take my chances. Try and be a little more careful on customer lawnmowers. Okay, so I might have to work around y'all here, but here's the exhaust. It attaches to a bolt down here. I have a gasket as well that goes on it. We'll just get one hole in and then we'll get the other hole in. This should be the easy part, not the hard part. Just want to get them started. Just like that one. Perfect. And the other one. Alright. The other one I might have to leave to an come on. Well, I'll get that one. That's the concept. You get them there. I'm going to catch up with y'all. I'll tell you what the torque specs is. All you're going to do is torque this thing in like a star pattern. So you kind of might want to go corner, corner. I know there's a specific pattern that you're going to use or supposed to use for Briggs. And also, before I do that, or before I put the exhaust on, I need to torque them. So let me grab the torque wrench. Torque them first, then put your exhaust on. Your intake is fine. So I'll rejoin you after I get the exhaust back on, and then we'll go ahead and put the push rods in for everything here. Alright y'all, here's where some of the important stuff comes in. So we've got an intake and an exhaust push rod. You can use steel for both. I've got the aluminum one here for the intake. You want to find that groove that it fits in, and you can confirm by just pushing it, turn the engine around. And it should fit in like a little slot. where if you push down, you'll see that the rod is pushing back and forth now. So that's that. So that's intake. Exhaust on the top is going to do the same thing. Just going to fit it right in there, right in the hole. And it should have just slid in. Let's make sure. Alright, it did, because it's pushing out. Now it's pushing back in. Okay. That's a good thing. That's kind of top dead center right there. Now what we're going to do, I think I can pull these. So, I need to get my 3/8 real quick. Make this a little easier. That's a 10 mil actually. Actually, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just trying to be lazy here. Grab, it's a T20 or a T15. It's a T20. Loosen it up, loosen this T20 up, and then just take this and just loosen it up. Now we're going to place that in there. We'll tighten this back up now. Now the thing is, we'll get it within spec. Don't worry about that. Doesn't feel like it's very far off, honestly. Same deal for the bottom. This is the easiest way to go about it. And just tighten it up. So now let me go get my feeler gauge and we'll get the gap right on these. And then, that's really far out. They're pretty far out. So, like I said, let me get the gap right. And then I'll rejoin you. And I'll put this engine cover back on. And see if the thing will at least kick over for us. It might honestly surprise us. I don't know. I'm looking at this. Sorry, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering why in the world does this thing have it's got a Marlboro carburetor on it. Why in the world does it have a anti-backfire on it when it's got a pull start on it? That doesn't make any sense to me, because that means you'd have to have battery power for the anti-backfire solenoid in order for it to work. The whole thing about a pull start is you don't need a battery. So I'm not sure. Let me stop getting sidetracked and I'll get these valves right. Alright y'all, back to it here. Torque was 20 foot-pounds or 19 foot-pounds on these head bolts. So, and I got to put the exhaust back on. I'm not going to forget that. Your intake valve is supposed to be between 3 and 5 thousandths, and the exhaust is supposed to be between 5 and 7. So we're going to, I'm way off on this one, so we're just going to give it a few turns. Okay, back it off a little bit whenever you feel it hit. I've got 5 thousandths on the feeler gauge here. That's pretty close. I'm going to back it off just a small amount. And it doesn't need to go very much, I can tell you that. See, like that was too much, and I barely even went about not even a 1/16 of a turn there. So go back. That's about right. And my feeler gauge is a mess, y'all. So 5 and a 6 will fit in there. Will a 7 fit in there? Barely. I'm going to go in just a smidge more. And I mean, watch how little I turn it. I mean, it does not need to go any further than that. You're talking about thousandths of an inch here. 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go just a tiny bit more. Just the smallest amount. See, and that was borderline too much. Gotta love it. That should be pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, the 6 is really snug. I'll live with that. Now the intake with the aluminum push rod is between 3 and 5 thousandths. And don't do like me. Open up the exhaust valve before you adjust it. There. I go to work really early during the week, and sometimes the fatigue really sets in over the course of the day. So we're just screwing this in. All right, so that's snug. We're going to back it off just a smidge. See if that does anything. 3 and 5 thousandths. Oh yeah, that's way too loose. Holy cow. So I'm just continuing to loosen this bolt here. That's funny. Alright, so now we got it on there. So now, let me back it off some. It's like, hi, this is my first day adjusting valves. You know, 5 is that's pretty snug. We're pretty close right there. Let me just back it off just a tiny bit. Or back it in just a tiny bit. I'm sure that's still good. Keep on cruising in. Luckily these are pretty, that's a little bit too close. Luckily these are pretty easy to adjust. Seriously, just trial and error though. I mean, you just have to, such minute adjustments. See, like that small amount made the difference between a 5 thousandths fitting in there and a 5 thousandths not fitting in there. So let me get my 3 thousandths. Will the 3 fit? No, so I need to back it off just a little bit. So if this is like your first time adjusting a Briggs valve, don't get discouraged. You'll get it. So there's a 3 and a 5. So 3 fits and a 5 doesn't. That's what you want. So that's all together. Ensure the correct operation by turning it and making sure your valves move like they should and are properly gapped and have a little bit of play in them whenever they're off their respective stroke. One other thing I'm going to check while I'm here is the flywheel key. I'll make sure that that's good. How about y'all check it with me? And then I'll put everything together. So 15/16. If I can find it. Okay. Alright, flywheel key is good. That's good. Make sure you torque this thing good because you don't want it to shear it. I've learned that lesson on one of these before. So, all that's left now is for me to secure the exhaust, which I can do pretty easily, and put the cover back on over here. Let me do that. I'll rejoin you and we'll see if we can get this thing to start for us. Alright, so exhaust is on, all buttoned up. I'll show you real quick before I try and start this thing. Put the recoil back on. Obviously those bolts as well. Looks good. Makes you wonder why the intake valve failed like it did. Makes you wonder. But I'm going to spray some carb spray in it, just see if it'll crank up for us. Check the oil too. It's low, but it's good enough to start for a brief second. What you think? It's on, so park brake. Park brake is on. Switch is on. Should start, right? Cool. That's all I need to see. So now, the next order of business, I'm just going to look in the carburetor. I'm just going to look in the carburetor because I do not know why this has got a solenoid. Unless it's just a dummy solenoid wire, because it definitely should not need one because of the pull start deal, right? It's got to get fuel up in there. Show you a trick with needle nose pliers here. They work a lot better than a ground off 1/2 inch wrench, typically. You can get them stuck in there. You lock it down, and then you turn it to, which way we're going to go? To the right, right? There we go. That's all you need to do. I have a feeling this carb is going to be nasty. Maybe not. It's actually not nasty at all. Wow. I hope it's not going to leak. I hope it's not going to leak gas. But I'm going to take this. Here, come with me. Take this. I'm going to cut it off because I don't understand the purpose of it. If you have a pull start lawnmower, that if you don't have any battery, I don't know. So come over here with me. We're just going to cut it off in the trash can. My garage is already starting to look pretty nasty. It's a these are tough little cookies, so you gotta give it a nice little press whenever you do this. We're just cutting it off though. Close your eyes too, because you don't want the thing to shoot up in it. Or better yet, wear safety glasses. There you go. So that's done. I'll reattach this. I'm just gonna put some gas in it. See if it'll run for at least a minute or two, and then if it does, I'll put a battery in it, clean it up, and we'll call it done. How about that? So unfortunately it's leaking gas right there at that fitting where I thought it was going to be leaking because it's cracked. However, that's not going to deter me from at least giving this thing a shot. I will put a carburetor on for them though, because that's what I'm going to end up having to do. Fuel line's pretty bad too, but let's see what we got. And it started right up. How about that? That's pretty cool. Take a ride on it. How about that? Let me get these bolts out of the way. It's been a while. I think this thing's been a while since this one's run. Woo! It's got a strong yeah, that's beautiful. Awesome. How good it idles down too. That's excellent. Shut off works. Backfire? No backfire. Awesome. Look at that. That's good. So basic functionality of everything works. I am going to go ahead and change the oil in it. Put another carburetor on it because the gas is leaking out. So I'm just gonna take the gas tank completely off of it just so I can save the gas that's in it. Blade, how's the blade on this thing? It'd be nice if it was sharp. I'm sure it's not. Ugh. It's pretty rough. I'll give it an edge. I'll give it an edge on it. And what else? That's about it. Like I say, you can see it leaking pretty good. From a bunch of places actually. So let me take care of that, and I'll be right back with you. Now, y'all have been with me thus far. Let me show you the whole process of changing the carb out while I'm here. Just gonna get this gas tank out of the way. I just turned it on its side so I didn't lose any more fuel. Pull this clip off. Just gotta watch for spiders and stuff, because those aren't fun if you hit them. Fuel line is a little bit rotted. There we go. I'm just gonna lay this up against the side of the garage. Let it just hang out, and then I'll put this. I like to save these clips if I can. Like I said, I took the gas tank off. We're going to go to the other side because that's where most of the action is going to happen here. It's not very light there, but it's okay. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to take the gas line off of the other side here. That's all I'm doing right now. Actually, I don't necessarily need to do this, but because it's leaking, I'll show you where it's leaking. Y'all saw where it was leaking from, actually. So, don't really matter because I just broke it. But it was leaking from right there anyway, so there's really no saving it once that happens, unfortunately. You can buy a new plastic nipple type thing, but so what have I got? A couple of 7/16 and a 5/16 here. So 5/16 is on top. Take it off, set it aside. Now we'll get on the other side. Tango with me here. There's two 7/16 that are under here, right there. We're going to take off. Okay. 1. 2. I'm sure I was right in the way of that. I'm sorry. That should allow this intake to come off, although it's a tight fit. There we go. Accesses the carburetor. Get you an 8mm deep well socket. Deep well socket. There we go. We got a ton of cleaning up to do on this thing. Alright, so that's that. Linkages. You can pull the choke linkage out pretty easily. Just get it out of the way. Hopefully my arms aren't in the way. We're going to do the linkage here for the... Oh, we're going to unplug your anti-backfire as well. Alright, and then we got to have this right here. Some gas is going to come out. I'm just taking the linkage off. Easier to take it off of the carburetor since that's what's coming off anyways. And the carb's off. It's unfortunate because this carb is good. It's just that connector there, which is brittle and broken, and it's just not worth replacing half the time unless you can find you a metal one. But the install is just as easy. I'm going to get this new one installed on it and sharpen the blade, change the oil, clean it up, install a battery, and I'll give you all a final look for this thing because I'm pretty sure we're done apart from that. So we're going to try something. I've never done this before, but I had success getting the old one out of another carburetor. So I had another Walbro carburetor sitting around that had a leaky needle and seat, I believe. And I'm going to take off this little fuel hose inlet, hopefully. There we go. So the other one, it didn't break loose essentially, it just had that plastic part on it. This one's all solid metal, so it's just a matter of me getting it out. If I can get it out. And this is brass, so there's really no good easy way to do this, but so that's out. The question is how to get it back in, or get it into the other carburetor. So that's out. This is the carburetor that's allegedly good. I guess I'm just gonna kind of pop it in there, give it a tap with like a little hammer or something. I'm not sure. Whatever I can do to get it from, keep it from leaking though. That seems to have done it. Let me put this carburetor back on and see if it's leaking. If not, we'll just keep it on there. Save the customer a little bit of cash and save me from having to buy another one. So let me put it back on. Y'all saw how I took it off. And I'll put all the gas and stuff, put new fuel line on it. I'll test it out. Alright y'all, I cleaned it up just for the owner. Just so because it's been in storage a while, they just wanted me to get it going so they could use it. And it is usable. So that's good. Very usable actually. Everything works great on it. Blade sharpened, did all the whole 9 yards to it. So they're gonna have a good lawnmower. Ended up carburetor situation. So the original one started leaking. I put a replacement on there that wasn't new, but was an aftermarket one, and it was a couple years old at least. It started leaking, so it's got a brand new carburetor on there. It's just so much better of a hassle than trying to make one not leak. To me, they're well worth the $20-ish that it costs for me to get one. So, again, new head. Works great. Thank you, Casey Bullington, for that. Saved the customer some money too, so I didn't have to go out and buy a head. So, his bill's going to be quite a bit less than what it would originally would have. Probably a good $60, $70, honestly. So, runs good. I don't know what else to say, except let's start it up. And electric start works great as well. It had been backfiring a little bit when you shut it off, but hey, most all of them do that. No big deal. So this one's done. Took well, it took maybe a half hour, 40 minutes breaking it down, and then maybe if it weren't for the carb issues, I'd have probably had it back together in about an hour, hour and a half. So we can just call it about 2 hours worth of work. And we got it done. If everything was, you know, the way that it was supposed to for an amateur like me, 2 hours worth of work. But dealt with carb issues. I didn't bother y'all with that, but ended up working okay. So again, I really like these. They seem like they're a little bit more refined than the round. I guess they call them the round tube snappers. They seem like they're a little bit more refined. So I like them, and I hope the owner likes it too. But this is number 2 of 3. The third one should be coming, I don't know, probably way late in the summer, early in the fall. As you can see, I've got a lot to work on, and that's not even what I'm including in the lean-to back there. So we got a lot to do here, guys. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all as always for the supporting the channel. keep on growing, keep on helping people fix their stuff. And I hope y'all are enjoying watching me fix the stuff that I have come through this garage. It's a few hundred items now at this point over the course of the years, which is kind of cool. Saving stuff from the dump and making money along the way. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.